Welcome to episode 161 of The Endless Stream. I'm Aidan, and this week I am joined by Kevin. We are jumping on quick, and we are recording a emergency pod, I guess is what we call it. But it's also late, so I don't know how much of an emergency it can be. We have a car cast coming up as well, which comes from me and Kevin driving the length of the country together. And we're also going to get together and record a podcast around the new Deadpool film. So The Endless Stream continues to roll on, but right here, right now, Kevin and I jumped on quick early in the morning to have a chat about the San Diego Comic-Con Marvel news. All that was said, all that was done. We talk about it, we bicker, and it's an episode of The Endless Stream, everybody. If you like what you hear, please consider subscribing to The Endless Stream, heading over to iTunes, heading over to Spotify, rating, reviewing, liking, subscribing, all of those good things really help us out. On top of that, you can head over to Instagram at The Endless Cat, where we put up art and clips to go with each episode. And you can send us a message there, suggest something for us to watch, disagree with our opinions, tell us your opinions on something we've seen, said, or otherwise. Or you can send us an email at theendlesscast@gmail.com. All of that being said, let's get into the episode. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning, Aidan.
How are you doing today?
We're good. Well, it's early bells, but we're here to give people a quick shot at the bar of some Endless Stream alcohol. Endless Stream in alcohol form.
Okay.
Quick shot episode.
I think I see what we're doing.
It's early.
It's early. Yeah. No, Kevin is lying in bed with a dog on his lap. I'm sitting in a chair with no underwear on. Let me rephrase that.
No underwear on.
Well,
towel.
Yeah, it's a sticky chair. We are jumping on to discuss the Marvel news. A lot of the podcasts I've been listening to in the last couple of weeks are like politics based, and there's been like a lot of like emergency pods. Donald Trump's been shot. Emergency pod. Kamala Harris is replacing. Emergency pod. Keir Starmer is whatever. Like, we're doing emergency pod. San Diego Comic-Con happened, and there's a bunch of Marvel news. So
a bunch of Marvel news.
Yeah. We can have a little chit chat, working towards, of course, the big deal. The Fantastic Four stuff. Did you see that?
Yes. Well, I was just going to say, first and foremost, we saw Deadpool and Wolverine, and it was great.
Yes, we'll talk about that in a full episode.
Yes, properly. I was just going to say, I think Marvel started off their Hall H, is it, where they make all their announcements and stuff?
Right, yeah.
With a big, huge Deadpool display.
Okay.
And then I think that led into potentially, because there was like I was reading accounts of it, and like the Deadpool kind of section of it was very crazy, and like people disorientated people. Like, it was wild, it was intense. People enjoyed it, you know.
I think they brought out all the cameos and stuff. All the actors that had cameos, because it had been out long enough that, like,
it had been out for 48 hours.
Yeah. And
I think then kind of as that ended or something, I believe they flew the Fantastic Car in.
Yes. Yeah, did you see it?
People are saying it was real trippy to have all this chaos of Deadpool and Wolverine, and then kind of just this Fantastic Car to kind of float in afterwards. But I saw it, and I think it looks class.
Yeah, it's a lovely... I'm actually
Super
just
Jets.
Googling it now. It's a lovely design. It's like... It's taking the idea of... the Fantastic Four, Fantastic Car thing, and kind of like... just ditching some of the comic book weight of it, the flying bathtub that we saw in Deadpool, the sort of modular thing we saw in later iterations. That looks like a car.
But I'm convinced like kind of, that weird modular bathtub thing that like it has been in the comics and stuff. I'm convinced people just designed that stuff because like it's not real looking, it looks different, and it's easy for me to draw that shape.
Yeah, I think there's a degree of that. I think there's just, look, design comes on, art gets better. That thing is just, when you think of Kirby drawing things, like he was lashing out pages quick as light, 2-3 pages a day. It's just like, it's a square, it's a rectangle, it's a circle, squiggly lines, let's go.
Let's fucking go.
Did you see the footage though?
Yes, I saw the footage.
Yeah.
I skimmed through it because I thought there might be a better release, not realizing that it was leaked.
Yeah, like that was like somebody pointing a camera at a screen in the audience type of job, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. obviously an alternate dimension, obviously a very like 1950s, 60s-ish, whether it's the past or whether it's the future. It's like Tomorrowland almost. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like retro futuristic.
Yeah.
Do you like what you see?
And so I really like what I saw, and apparently like they're not doing like so much of an origin movie. I think they're going to be fairly established in this one. I think the shots that we saw might have like kind of, not been flashbacks, but kind of would have been them explaining what happened essentially. But well, from what I heard, it's not an origin movie.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I can see that as well. First steps, they're kind of playing with the one small step for man, one small giant step for mankind thing, 1960s-ish. There is a moment in that where you see a like a dating game, blind date kind of scenario, and Bachelor number 3 is this giant silhouette, and it's the thing.
In a suit.
So yeah, I hadn't thought about what you're saying there, but like, because so much of that footage seemed like the origin, the team getting together and going to space, and what their relationship was, and but like you're right, that could all happen in the first like 90 seconds of montaged. I kind of think it does, because because like I haven't thought about it there, but when you said it, it was just like if the thing's on a dating show, like, it looks like he's on a blind date type scenario. Yeah. There's a petition. There's 3 men, I assume bachelors, kind of silhouetted, and the grim is obviously far right and looks very thing-like. Yeah. But that's obviously, if he's there, there's potentially there's some level of fame that he's on TV. Yeah, and I think it's like a montage of like post-experiment or post-adventure celebrity,
Yeah. We're going to see a lot of fake times.
We're not editing this.
Sorry.
It's going straight up. Don't edit this. Don't yawn into. Don't cough into. Don't sneeze into. Go on.
We're going to see. I can't remember. I lost my thought. But yeah. Then we got a glimpse of Galactus.
We did at the very end. We see a giant face peering into the windows, and it's like, that's such a great way of doing that as well, because the last time we saw Galactus was a giant cloud, and just giving us that little glimpse of like, oh, it's definitely a person or humanoid shape.
Yes,
and it's
looks good, looks fun.
But it also doesn't give us the entire reveal at the same time. So that looks so fun. I love the aesthetic. It's just about getting them into the main timeline MCU then at that point.
Lego Zone's definitely going to play into that.
Yeah, or the quantum realm, whatever way they want to call it.
Or the Maker.
The Maker.
Yeah. No, I just saw someone say online that it would be cool if Miles Teller came back for Secret Wars or something as...
No, it wouldn't.
Reed Richards the Maker. No, it wouldn't be cool. I hate that idea.
It was the worst 4.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, we'll get into it again, but like the one thing or the one kind of like idea that I like about what happened in Deadpool is we're closing the book on this Fox nonsense now, right? Because that stuff didn't work then, and it's it was a patch or a bandage or a nicotine patch of superheroic nonsenses that we needed to get us through the early 2000s, but like that stuff didn't work. Let's move on. Let's close the book on it. Let's get past it. Let's do good stuff. Some of it worked, but like just about, man. Like we've got an MCU that's fucking working. Like the X-Men films were wildly uneven. We can talk about this when we get into the Deadpool of it at all. I know you've just done a rewatch of them all, so you're just like kind of hyped on them a little bit. But like,
yes and no. Like anyways,
we can really pick at them,
Yeah.
You can pick at everything, but we can really pick at them.
But Fantastic Four looks good.
Yes.
I am hyped for it. It comes out next year. It's exciting stuff.
Yes.
I'm pumped for it.
We had a bit of Thunderbolts behavior. Did you see David Harbour coming out in the Red Guardian outfit?
I did. Very funny. Yeah.
That was great fun. He's fun.
Yeah, I was going to say, he definitely doesn't take himself too seriously. He seems to enjoy doing this stuff. Obviously, it's good he hasn't got any trauma left over from Hellboy.
Yeah, I mean, I think Black Widow might have helped him out a bit on that one. But it will be fun, I guess, to kind of see him back. I'm still looking at that lineup of characters, though, the Thunderbolts. Like I'm scrolling back to find a picture of them. I have very little interest in any of these people. But sure, that's just me, isn't it?
Well, I'm interested in Black Widow, if you want to call it Black Widow. Do we call it Black Widow or White Widow?
Well, I think the thing is that like Pugh is a great actress and a fun person to watch, like that character. But like,
Yeah.
what arc are you interested in her? Like, what do you want out of her in a Marvel universe?
Well, I don't know, bro. I like seeing her on screen. I liked her portrayal of the character in the Black Widow movie. I thought she was cool in Hawkeye. As far as just being a cool character, and it'll be fun to see her interacting with like the likes of Bucky and stuff. That's a jumping off point for me. I'm happy enough for that.
Did she? I can't remember. Did she get over the Natalia trauma by the end of Hawkeye? Did she believe that Hawkeye didn't kill Nat and that she had been misled by Julia Louis-Dreyfus?
No,
Like Julia
because
Louis-Dreyfus kind of set her on.
yeah, but we haven't
Okay,
seen
right.
any consequences of that yet, right?
No,
Because Black Widow was set beforehand, and it ends with kind of Dreyfus being like,
no. Well, her whole interaction in the Hawkeye series was as a result of Julia Louis-Dreyfus's pointing her at Hawkeye.
was it?
Yeah.
I can't remember if that happened at the end of Hawkeye or not.
The whole
No.
the whole reason she was trying to kill Hawkeye or interact with Clint was because
Oh yes,
Julia Louis sent her
she
after.
was set on it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So did that resolve?
I can't remember.
Okay, all right.
Maybe not. We'll have to revisit it.
I mean, who else have we got? Taskmaster. So is that Olga Kurylenko or is it a new Taskmaster?
No, it's the old.
It's Olga. She's still wearing the uniform that is clearly a dude.
No, different costume.
Different costume. Okay, and then we've
Yeah.
got the Ghost. What was her called?
Ghost from Ant-Man 2.
Yeah.
New costume.
Yeah. I mean, like I kind of remember Thunderbolts from when they were originally around. And they were. Am I nuts or were they? Was there a bunch of like they had designed these costumes? No, maybe that's Slingers. Like I remember there was like a Spider-Man. Like there was like a contract out in Spider-Man's head, and he was made illegal, and the police were after him. So he just started new identities. And there
Yes,
was
Ricochet,
Dusk and
Dusk.
Prodigy and Ricochet,
Yeah,
and there was a
Ricochet, yeah.
fourth one. And those costumes got picked up by some of the characters in the Thunderbolts.
Okay.
Am I nuts on that? Or is that where
No,
the
you could be right,
Slingers came from?
It does sound about right, yeah.
Was it Hornet? What was the name of
Oh, yes, Hornet. Yeah.
So, like, I have this idea of the Thunderbolts as being this, like... And then they were villains pretending to be heroes that were run by Norman Osborn. Am I right on this?
Yes, there was something like that, yeah.
Okay. You
Um,
researching Thunderbolts as we speak?
No. There was something I had on my phone that kind of had a good breakdown of what was kind of talked about and shown at each section. But I just don't have it now. But yeah, Thunderbolts. Sentry's going to be in it. I think they showed some footage of Sentry, but I don't know who's cast as Sentry now.
Well, Stephen Nguyen
He's gone.
was he gone?
He's gone.
Because
He's out.
I remember him being in and then leaving. There was footage of Sentry.
There was footage of somebody in a hospital bed, and I believe it was meant to be Sentry.
It can get very misleading. Lewis Pullman is playing the Sentry.
Who are they?
I don't know who they are, but that's just the first name that came up with the Googling. Lewis Pullman. I'm looking at the cast list as Bob/Sentry. That's what Wikipedia has him as. So it's Bill Pullman's kid. Where would we know him from? Film?
the trailer has been described as a montage begins. We see Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character, walking into a party that had Marvel relics like Loki Spectre there. Pullman's character walks out of a room and a group of soldiers stand with their guns. Unit jumps off a building. The words "Careful who you assemble" pop on the screen. I'm not going to read all of this, but...
Okay, so did you say Pullman jumps off the building?
No, Black Widow.
Black Widow, okay. I can see Pullman being the villain of the piece because the Sentry is a very controversial kind of character. Keeping him under wraps is... As powerfully as he is as a force for good, there is a negative wave that emanates off him that is a force for evil. So the stronger he becomes, the more evil the evil becomes. So they kind of just try and keep him neutral. Does feel well. Even as I'm describing that, it's starting to feel like the first Suicide Squad movie.
I like Lewis Pullman. I do recognize him from stuff.
From what?
I believe he's in a TV show. Let me just...
Catch-22, Outer Range, Lessons in Chemistry. These are his TV credits.
Oh no, then I don't know him.
He plays Bob in Top Gun Maverick. You remember Bob?
I never saw Top Gun Maverick.
Huh?
I never saw Top Gun Maverick.
You never saw Top Gun Maverick? Okay, that's a separate thing. Let's keep moving through the
yes,
the
go
SDCC.
on for it.
Giancarlo Esposito says he's playing Sidewinder. Have you read anything with Sidewinder?
Not to my knowledge, no. I definitely. What? He's League of Serpents, Serpent Society. Yeah. Definitely read them in books and stuff, but not to my knowledge. But as far as I know, that's not his final form.
In the movie?
Yes, he changes and mutates.
Okay. Why am I so tired? I think what I am is tired of Giancarlo Esposito. I think all I've been told is how great he is, and all I've ever seen is an older man sort of standing, talking with a clear diction and a broad vocabulary, and we're like, he's evil, and it's like...
So, yeah, I think basically people were quite enamored with his character in Breaking Bad, and that kind of is the pedestal that people hold him at.
Yeah.
Like, he's a good presence, he's a good actor, I'm not going to say about those things, but at the same time, like, yeah, I'm not like, yeah, cool.
He wasn't, like...
Fine.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to buy into the hype on him on in The Mandalorian, and then I just haven't been like... Anytime you see him, you know what's up. You know what I mean? I know, okay, this is what this guy's going to do. He's doing the thing he does.
He's definitely made good decisions work-wise.
Well,
like, he's been in the right things.
He's been in huge things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just, I don't know. I'm sour grapesing. He's a good actor. We'll see if this is finally the good role that I like him in, because I don't get it so far.
And I keep on forgetting that it's Brave New World.
Yeah.
I keep on forgetting that Brave New World is filled with a bunch of Hulk ensemble.
A
like
bunch of Hulk ensemble? What do you mean a bunch of Hulk ensemble?
Like the leaders in it. There's a bunch of Hulk characters in it. It's more of like a Hulk fringe movie than a full-blown Captain America movie.
Okay. So the leaders in it, I didn't know that. And
that's been announced ages ago.
Is the Abomination along for the ride?
I think so.
Because we last saw him in the She-Hulk movie.
Yes,
or a show.
And then the leader is played by the gentleman who played him in the Edward Norton one.
Okay, all right, that's carrying through continuity.
Yeah,
that was. I mean, it would be good. I mean, well, see, that's the thing. Is it a Hulk movie or is it a Captain America movie? Then at this point, I mean, if you've got Thunderbolt Ross, you get the daughter, right?
That's what I would figure.
Yeah, that'd be.
And
cool.
Connolly's great.
Yeah, and she's kind of been underserved by being in one Marvel.
Oh
movie
no, wait!
In 2000.
It's not Connolly. It will be Liv Taylor, if anything, right?
You're right, Liv Tyler. Yeah, Liv Tyler and Liz Taylor are different people. I
said Liv Taylor.
Yeah, you did. You merged Liv Tyler and Liz Taylor.
Yep. Look, kind of Brave New World. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem. That's kind of the problem with it. is for me is like, if I'm buying into Mackie's Captain America, give me Mackie's Captain America. Don't give me an Incredible Hulk movie. It was like trying to watch the Ahsoka TV series, and you gave me all the other characters from Rebels to look at rather than Ahsoka, and it's like, right, now I'm into all the Rebels characters because I watched all of Rebels, and you're not doing anything with Ahsoka. She's just sort of Rosario Dawson, just standing serenely in the background of things. There's one episode, to be sure, where there's a lot of flashback and internal working through of trauma, which is a great episode. But I was watching a Rebels TV show as opposed to an Ahsoka TV show. So if this is a Captain America movie, I hope to see a Captain America movie and not an Incredible Hulk movie. But there's a Red Hulk in it, so we'll see what happens. I mean, by the time you have Red Hulk, do we have Banner showing up? I don't know. I mean, again, positive about superhero stuff.
Well, apparently there's rumors now. I don't know how true it is, but apparently they are working on Wolverine versus Hulk movie.
Where did that rumor come from?
I've seen it a few places online.
Okay.
Well, can't verify it. Like I said, it's rumor.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could just do that with if Hugh Jackman just wants to keep making money.
Secret Wars is coming out in 2020. Secret Wars is coming out in 2027. Doomsday is 26.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman is going to be in Secret Wars.
Well, that's the new, like, these are part of the sort of new announcements was new names for things, right? So Kang Dynasty isn't Kang Dynasty anymore. It's Doomsday.
They've had to pivot away from Kang entirely.
Yeah. And I think I said to you at the time watching Loki season 2 that, there was one sentence in there that just pivots them. And I'd have to go and get it again, but it's right at the end, and there's a bunch of TVA heads standing around a console, and they've just locked Jonathan Majors' Kang away somewhere, and they're like, how's the whole Kang situation? And they're just like, we got it all under control. A little hiccup on 606, but they handled it. And that's the Quantumania run. So within that one sentence, they basically just said the TVA's got to handle a Kang. So they could choose to make him more of a problem if the court case played out the way they wanted, or they can just go, TVA got him. Yeah, that's grand. We don't need to go into him anymore. He's just as far as the Marvel Cinematic Universe is concerned, the TVA have him locked in a little bubble dimension with all the thousands and thousands and thousands of iterations of him, all just yelling at each other, which is what we saw at the end of Quantumania. And they're sort of maddeningly having all their schemes by themselves. But that's it. I mean, they announced the new titles. So again, we keep Secret Wars. We have Doomsday announced. I'm just trying to check before we get to it. Yeah, I mean, they've announced those new titles, and we kind of knew this beforehand. Brian threw it into the chat. The Russo brothers are back to direct those. Now, that's a good idea, because the Russo brothers are very, very good at directing and very, very good at putting together solid interlinking ensemble cast narratives.
They have a good track record.
They do. I'm sure they're getting paid huge money, but
big bucks.
In bringing back the Russo brothers, and in having just watched Deadpool, where Deadpool calls out Marvel a number of times. I mean, you watch things happen and go, how do they not know this isn't working? And then you have a movie where they go, welcome to the MCU. You're joining at a low point, but all of this multiversal stuff, it's not working. It's been miss after miss after miss. So they know. Or do they think it's just cheeky elbow ribbing and it's working? But
that Ryan Reynolds kind of, taking the moment to make jabs while he can, as in make light of it.
Yeah. But if they know and we know that they've sort of taken a pause in terms of like how optimistic are you that they have heard what's being said and that they are slowing the fuck down and they're going to do a movie a year, 2 movies a year, slow down the TV thing. Better,
well, I'm less
better
optimistic.
content.
I'm less optimistic because they've just announced 2 new movies with new directors and obviously new characters or whatever that are set to come out in 2 years.
You're talking the Avengers movies?
I'm talking Doomsday and Secret Wars. It's just kind of like, and like, you know, we just got the confirmation for the cast of Fantastic Four. That's coming out next year, followed by Doomsday, followed by Secret Wars. Like, they are turning these things out fast.
Well, to be fair to them on that, right?
I know
Those
everything's
aren't
green now,
those
it
aren't
sounds
new
serious.
announcements. You know,
Yeah, I know there's been preliminary work, all right, for sure.
like the last 2 years at Comic Cons on the board has been Avengers Kang Dynasty and Avengers Secret Wars. Like, those were the 2 movies. They've renamed Kang Dynasty, but it's still just in its slot. To be fair to them.
Fair.
Like,
I saw a thing.
go on.
I saw a thing online, and it was saying that kind of they just started talking to Robert Downey Jr. in May about doing this.
Okay. Well, we're
He said he'd
jumping
only
to
do
that.
it. Well, yeah, I'm not going to say yeah.
Well, we haven't said it. We haven't said it explicitly yet. The
Yes.
the
Don't let me.
go for it, I guess. I mean, you already
No,
announced it, pre-announced it.
pre-announce it, but let me finish my fucking sentence.
Okay.
God damn it. Robert, apparently he'd only do it if the Russo brothers came back.
Okay. Okay. So,
Yes. So that's apparently why they're back.
okay. Well, they've got a knot to fucking untangle now that they're back. And I guess the biggest announcement, I mean, do you want to say it?
No.
No. You've pre-announced it, and now you won't articulate it in a direct and clear fashion for the listener.
Yes.
Fair enough. The highlight announcement, the big announcement, the saved for last announcement on stage, once they had announced that they had renamed the Kang Dynasty to Doomsday, they marched out on stage 50, 60, 100, 1,000, 2,000, I don't know how many, people wearing Doctor Doom masks and green hoods, and talked about Victor Von Doom as Doctor Doom. And you and I and Brian remembered the last few years worth of like who could play Doom. Oh, Henry Cavill's been in for a chat, or Tom Cruise could do it, or
Cillian Murphy,
who could be this Doctor Doom character.
Matt Nicholson.
And they walk the man out, and he pulls up his mask, and it is Robert Downey Jr. And he says, "New mask, same task." And that's the big reveal of Comic-Con. Slightly spoiled by Russo Brothers negotiation talks moments ago. But
What do you think so?
no, I mean, just we're moving through a narrative here, and you sort of like you foreplayed the penetration. Okay.
Sorry.
Sometimes you need it, huh? What? I'm not editing it. It's staying in. It's what he said.
Jesus.
What?
He's
It's
drinking
early.
whiskey.
It's early. I've had my cranberry juice. I'm being salty. What did you think? Tell me what you thought the first moment you saw that reveal. I'm assuming, like me, you
Shocked.
woke up to a TikTok and went, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, shocked and confused.
Shocked and
confused. But like, no bad feelings. Like, I'm optimistic about it. I think it's fine. Like, kind of, like, I to be honest, a part of me woke up and was just like, this is nuts. What kind of fucking world are we living in? You know, like the fact that they're bringing back Robert Downey Jr. for Doom. But like, to be honest, like, I'm optimistic, and I'm sure they've done it in potentially a clever way, maybe, whatever. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna shit them just yet. But I'd like though if it was just Victor and nothing to do with Tony Stark.
Well, that's a
I'd like
good,
if
that's
it's
a good question. When you see Tony Stark and you're parsing that, and you're like a Robert Downey Jr., and you're just like, because my brain immediately starts connecting dots as to how this could possibly function. What did your brain do? Like, you were like, were you just like surprised and went, how weird, and then shared it, or were you like, oh, how weird? I mean, I guess they'd have to do this and they have to do that, or maybe it's this. Like, what thought process did you have any, or what were your first, like, what conclusions did you come to before we get to, like, because I'll tell you my thoughts after.
Well, I thought that it's just going to ultimately be some sort of multiverse Tony Stark, or it's going to be Tony Stark. Initially, it was just like, this is going to be some like bait and switch Tony Stark multiverse thing, which, you know, I'd rather they didn't. I'd rather it just be Victor Von Doom, mask on, face covered. That's the movie, you know, or he's scarred enough that like you can't tell it's Robert Downey Jr., you know, that kind of way. But like kind of, I also like, you know, obviously at the end of Endgame, he clicks his fingers, he dies, he's buried. But like, is it going to be a case that like some part of him materialized on some world that he kind of became Doom and was angry because he went crazy because he was alone? We've seen that before.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that. I can't see that. I think it's like, I guess my first reaction with the multiverse in play was to go, this is Tony Stark. We've got infinite, what do they call them, variants possible. It's a simple like light side, dark side flip of the coin, you know. You've got Tony Stark kidnapped by terrorists, tortured into building a suit of armor, and resigns himself or resolves himself to try and take his weapons manufacturing out of the game and drive towards peace and protection and put a suit of armor around the world. Light side response. But you've got the dark side response of a Tony Stark in an alternate dimension who takes being kidnapped and tortured and driven towards weaponry to thinking, I must exert control, I must you know, put logic on the society, I must build ever more powerful weapons and put the, you know, never again will I be under anybody's thumb. And that's Tony Stark, just
that's
good guy, bad guy Tony Stark. The idea that you have as well is like, we just have Robert Downey Jr. in a suit with a voice. We never see the face. We call him Victor Von Doom. Yeah, that's a straight up just using the actor for their skills.
Yeah, I think approach. Yeah, and obviously people would be drawn to that, you know. But I think regardless of Doom, I think I'd rather see Victor as opposed to Tony.
Right. I think the thing is, when you say Victor as opposed to Tony, we then will never see Robert Downey Jr.'s face, because I don't want to have to explain the like we just saw in Deadpool, where it's like, oh, it's Cap, but it's a different actor playing, you know. And I don't want to get into that, like, it's Reed, but it's a different actor, or it's a face we know from somebody else. In this universe, you're this guy. In that universe, you're this guy. Like, I just don't want to have that thing. Either he's Tony Stark, or, you know, Victor Von Doom just coincidentally looking the spit at Tony Stark is frustrating to me. I did see some glimpses of comics when people are like explaining the like I saw a little YouTube
what if,
like walkthrough what if type of thing, where rather than being Reed Richards' college friend, he was Tony Stark's college friend, and Victor Von Doom tricked him into an experiment where he mind swapped with him in order to get, you know, rid of Tony Stark and into his family and into his resources and everything else. So it's kind of like a superior Spider-Man kind of thing, where you've got a different brain in the body type of thing. I'm not wild about that either. I just think it's not comic accurate, but it's not comic accurate, but to being Doctor Doom, to being Victor Von Doom. But I think in terms of like ethos, in terms of like narrative or explaining away the armor, having Iron Man be the light side version of Doctor Doom, like, it's that type of thing where it's like there's two sides of there's two sides of the coin to Batman, you know. One version of him becomes a hero and the other one becomes a fucking sociopath that's just killing people, you know. Trauma can lead you to different things. I know it's not the comic Victor Von Doom, but by the time you have a Fantastic Four from an alternate dimension, like, we're not really, are we going back there for Victor? I don't know.
I don't know. Obviously Fantastic Four will be in Doomsday and Secret Wars, you know, so they will be with the Avengers. So they obviously come into the 616 or whatever it's called. So yeah, it's definitely an alternate Doom, right?
It's got to be an alternate universe. This is the
Yeah,
problem. Sorry, go ahead.
if we assume that Doom's going to show up in Fantastic Four in a post-credit scene, we have to imagine that he's in the same world as them, unless kind of the Fantastic Four coming into the 616 awakens Doom in some regard. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Maybe the Fantastic Four were a team in the 60s and, went away or something. Doom has been in hiding since or whatever, and then them coming back brings him back,
Yeah. I think there's a thing where it's like Marvel's in a weird situation where like they want to introduce the X-Men and all at this point, but like it's tough to do that at this point in their MCU because they have to go, where the fuck were all of these people when everything else was going on? You know what I mean? To add that layer in now is tricky.
But I guess as well though, because in the end of the Marvels, Monica Rambeau, isn't it? Isn't it Monica Rambeau, Photon, who wakes up in an alternate world where she's being tended to Beast.
Yeah.
So I think they've
Tended by
established
Beast.
But I think they're established that X-Men, or at least that version of the X-Men, are in an alternative world.
Yeah.
So, like, they're in an alternative world. Fantastic Four are in an alternative world.
Yeah.
They're going to come together in Secret Wars, at least some of them. So we can only imagine that they somehow, through Monica, trying to get Monica back to her world. The Fantastic Four obviously probably going through the negative zone again into our world. That's how, maybe they accumulate all like that.
Yeah. They just all have to just trying to mash these universes together is tricky. You know what I mean? Trying to bring the lore of multiple narratives together. Because, how comic book wise, how deeply ingrained the Fantastic Four into the MCU from the very beginning, as Iron Man and Captain America and Thor and everyone else comes along, and Doctor Doom and all of that stuff. It's very tricky. I think I saw a thing said that adamantium is going to be coming from the Eternals. Yeah, like a celestial involvement, which is interesting. What does that mean for a Wolverine? Yeah, fucking, I don't know. It's definitely the first time first time in a long time I've opened up a phone in the morning and seen some nerd news and gone, oh fuck yeah, awesome, great. Yeah, this is class.
I'm happy for it. I'm excited. There's a lot of backlash, a lot of hate, and I don't understand it. It's just just wait and fucking watch
hate.
it.
I'm not seeing hate. I guess you're.
I'm seeing a lot.
Okay.
No,
I suppose
lots
you can see
of
whatever
people
you
are
want.
angry. Yeah, lots of people are saying they could have just recast Kang, no big deal, move forward, blah, blah, blah. No, lots of people aren't happy with Robert Downey Jr. at all coming back. I've seen lots of people saying it should have been Cillian Murphy, it should have been this person. Yeah, I've seen a lot of.
Well, the thing is that it requires it to be some sort of narrative trickery rather than just telling Victor Von Doom's story.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But no, I'm positive. I'm excited, and it's great that they're not coming out in years away. It's this is all coming out in the next 3 years. This is great.
This is all coming out in the next 3 years. So we've got.
Fantastic.
So we've got Captain America February next year.
Yeah.
We've got Fantastic Four middle of next year.
Yeah.
And we've got Avengers Doomsday. We got Thunderbolts as well.
Oh yeah, I don't know when that's coming out. Next year?
It's good. Yeah, it's within the next year and a half anyway. So
we've got a trailer. So
we've got the three of them. Is there anything I'm missing?
No.
The three of them have to get us to an Avengers movie.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Who are those Avengers?
Ooh, good question.
I mean, we gotta have Cap, right?
Captain for sure.
Yeah.
Hulk, Thor.
I don't know that we'd have to see casting announcements in the coming weeks and months to tell me Chris Hemsworth back, or is it Natalie Portman Thor?
I know. Captain Marvel Brie Larson has said that she knows that kind of. I think she said that Captain Marvel is being involved, but she can't go into what extent.
I'm surprised she wants anything else to do with this.
I like her. I don't know why people don't.
I like her. I think what she's been. I like that first movie. That second movie is Drek. The response she's had forever has been just to be shit upon.
It was shit.
Like if I were Brie Larson, I'd be done to fuck with Marvel unless they're paying big style.
Speaking of paying big style,
Style.
Obviously Robert Downey Jr. It's come out that he's been paid like 80 million.
Yeah.
And I saw a Japanese website reporting on the news, and their whole thing was like, he's being paid like 80 million. That's like 120 billion yen. That's enough to make 6 Godzilla -1 movies.
Right.
You know, that's how they reported it.
Well, he's there for 2 movies. He will probably have Sting cameos. Like he has to pop up at the ass end of these movies, right?
Yeah.
And like they would have had to put, because like maybe I'm wrong, but like his contract must have expired by the time he was done with Endgame. And the contract he had in terms of like back end on movies like was huge. So if he's coming back to renegotiate, he's going, I want the same, or they pay him off
Yeah.
a huge number to not take a percentage of the fucking profits.
Yeah.
So yeah, they would have had to pay him huge.
Fair play to him.
And it is funny. Like it's funny when you think about his Oscar acceptance speech off the back of Oppenheimer, where he was like, you know, I want to thank my management and everyone else, you know, who told me that like in order to change the narrative and to move back into dramatic roles or whatever the hell else, you know, you have to show your humility and take a big pay cut and do something different. And, you know, this is the path I've gone for and this is what I'm working on. And he wins his Oscar. Then he's like, money, 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 money.
Money!